Empower who?
Empower me!
For our podcast, we have amazing individuals that's coming on to tell and share a little bit about their experience. And hopefully, those that are watching on the stream, those that will be joining by Zoom, and then for those of you in the future who will be listening to us on Spotify and YouTube, that you can take something away, apply it, adapt it to your life and your transition, and for those foster parents or those adult supporters that you know how to best help and support your young people, but mainly just to start having the conversation. I am joined. I'm gonna introduce the guest host for today from Partnership Against Domestic Violence. Can you introduce yourself, Jen?
Yeah, hi. Excuse me. Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Shudayantha, and I'm the coordinator of dating violence prevention at Partnership Against Domestic Violence.
Awesome. We can't start this off how I normally started off because those are normally one-on-ones. But we're taking a stab at doing topics that people don't generally talk about. So I want to start. I should have put my list in alphabetical order, but we're going to start with introductions, and I'll start up here with Hope, since you're first on my screen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hope Garnett. What would you like me to share? Think about like how long I was in care.
Yes, how long you was in care, how long you've been out of care.
Right. So I was in care for less than a year, and I've been out of care for at least 8 years now. I'm getting old.
Seasoned, not old.
Yeah.
Next. And next I'll go to Oriana.
My name is Oriana. And I spent 17 years in foster care, and I've been out of care for about 8 or 9 years. Yeah.
And on my list I have Ishanti.
Hi guys, my name is Ashanti. I was in care for 5.5 years. I've only been out for 2 years, 2.5 years now. Yeah.
Okay. And I have Mia.
Hello, my name is Mia, and I was in care for about 10 years, and I've been out now for about 7, 8 years, going on 8 years.
Okay. And I know what people are thinking. I only have females. Yes, that's right. But I will do one for the males, and then I would actually like to do one that would kind of combine those to talk about dating. But this is where we're going to start. And Jen, can you tell us all what Partnership Against Domestic Violence does, like all the amazing things that y'all do?
Yeah, so, excuse me, Partnership for Domestic Violence, we are the oldest and largest domestic violence agency in the state of Georgia. We serve Fulton and Gwinnett County, so essentially the metro Atlanta area. We do things on two sides, right? So we do intervention services for survivors who are actively fleeing violence. We offer emergency housing, transitional housing, case management, legal advocacy, counseling, all that great stuff. On the prevention side, which is mostly what I do, we do educational workshops for the communities. We work with institutions and stakeholders around Atlanta to kind of create more so a culture of respect and a culture of healthy relationships. And we're really lucky to partner with people in order to expand the access to services young people have within Georgia and Atlanta.
That's awesome. And I know we've worked with y'all in the past. Y'all came on to do our webinars, especially around dating and dating violence. And then I've actually helped with one of your conferences. I think back when we could all like touch each other. We held it at the high school in downtown Decatur. I think that was the last one that I was in, and that one was awesome. And I loved the panel that y'all had, and then the amount of workshop topics that was there. So I found those really, really interesting, and the fact that y'all were inclusive, because you had one of the ones that I sat in was on LGBTQ, and I think that was centered around dating. Well, it was centered around diversity and dating violence or whatever, and I found that was very interesting. Just learning more information. So.
Yeah, PADV is super awesome. We're really inclusive. I'm queer. We're really inclusive of the LGBTQ community. And our agency, our shelter facility actually also accepts folks who identify as TGNC, so transgender and or gender nonconforming. So no matter how you identify, you can always come to us if you need some help.
Okay, I was gonna ask you what was those last acronyms, because I didn't know those. I didn't know those.
No, you're good. Yeah, TGNC is transgender and gender nonconforming folks.
Okay, awesome. All right, so how we're gonna start this? We're gonna throw a softball question, or I throw as a softball question because I'm just kind of curious about this one. What is the best pickup line someone has used on you? And I'm gonna go with Mia.
Wow, you would do that. Honestly, I cannot stand pickup lines. So I don't think there's any good pickup line out there. Like, I know I'm boring in that response, but I can't stand them. I think a simple
Really?
"Hello, my name is so easy.
So no, you've been walking around in my head all day. Your feet hurt? No, nothing like that.
No, I cannot. They're the worst way to get my attention. If you really want to push me away, use a pickup line. It is the worst way to get my attention. Any of the above.
Did it hurt when you fall from heaven? No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go to Ashanti. But wait, before I go to what was the worst one that you've heard? Like, since you hate them all, what was the worst one that got on your nerves? God, how many have they hit you with?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. And I saw your question, and no, it didn't pop up. I'm gonna go to Ashanti next.
Okay. So this is really cheesy and really corny. Me and my boyfriend, we do this all the time. Like, we've been doing this for years. So we act like we're not dating. We'll act like we're two random people, especially in public. People are really thrown off by this. But my boyfriend walked up to me one day and he said, oh my gosh, how did it go? He just told me this earlier. He was like, too bad you're he said, too bad you're Autobots, because it's a Transformer reference. Too bad you're Autobots, because in my book you would have been Optimus Fine.
What?
What is wrong? He's so cheesy. So yes, but I can go on for days. This boy is a cornball, and he just pulls out anything.
Learning some things, okay. Ori, what's more for you?
I haven't been picked up in a long time. Well, I mean, I can tell you the worst one, which is I really hate hearing "Hey, shawty." I really cannot stand it, and I hear that a lot in Atlanta.
Hey, shawty, what's up? No.
Hey, shawty.
Or hey, shawty, what your name is? Oh my gosh.
But not no. Hey, girl, come here. No.
I hear that too. Hey, girl. That is so disrespectful.
Hey, little mama.
It's horrible out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's really horrible.
Oh, what's yours? What's the best one that they use for you?
Oh wow! Like I just haven't had a cheesy guy, and it's crazy because I like cheesy, corny pickup lines.
Okay.
And I just have not had a guy like do that to me yet. Maybe the love of my life will one day, but
you're gonna have people watching this, and then they're gonna say, "All right, when I see her, let me think of the
right. Let me go ahead.
All right.
I like to laugh. I do.
Let's hear from you, Hope. What do you have?
I don't have anything funny, but I was younger. Let me just say that. This guy came up to me and told me, and by the way, I didn't know him. He told me that we were spiritually compatible and destined to be together.
What?
Right. It was just, it was deep in there.
He just picked me up, and I'm not even,
Right.
No, that's spiritual manipulation.
Yeah, that's
It's
a-
wrong.
Don't tell me.
That is immediate.
Excuse my wife.
Immediate run.
Right.
I'm curious from the audience, both online and on Zoom, what's the craziest pickup line that has worked on you? Go ahead and type it in. And Mia, would that be considered a pickup line? What was used on Hope? Would that be considered a pickup line, or would that just be like, yeah, he's fine?
No, I mean, I assume it's a pickup line because he was intending on getting her attention by saying that, but that's a quick walk away. That's spirituality. It's supposed to be on a deep level. You're supposed to know me first.
Right.
All right. So my first question. My next question is, were you allowed to date while in care? And I'll start with Ashanti this time.
Yes, ironically, we weren't, well, how do you say it? Like when you're at home and you're around your mom and she's like, oh, you're just one of your little friends. My mom had that mentality as well as the group home staff. So the only date I got to go on with my now boyfriend, who was also my high school sweetheart, was prom. That was the only time I was able to really go out and actually date him.
Huh. Cool. I'm curious. Did you think that helped you, or is that?
Oh, our conversation, our communication was on lock though, because we talked all the time. I mean, he couldn't talk to nobody else. I didn't have no one else to call, so we stayed on the phone in the group home.
I remember those from the group home days. You stay on the phone for hours and hours on end, whatever.
What group?
Yep, and then they'd be mad and they'd be like, "You need to get off the phone."
Yes. So somebody go tell the group home parent like he hogging the phone. And, So I'm go to Hope. Were you allowed to date?
Yes and no. So my experience was, because I was staying with family during a part of time in care. My aunt was very strict, but I could date, but it would be supervised only. So wherever I went, she went.
But I think I see a lot of people do that. But you said you was only in care for like a year, so at 17, she was in the back of the movie theater. Just
that's right.
Separate.
That's right. Right, and not in the back beside us.
Or what was yours?
Ooh, was I allowed to date or did I date?
So and let me give a preference. So if you want to hear more about Ori, Ori did the Through the Eyes podcast interview. What was that? 2 months ago or whatever. And her interview was like I'm still going through and editing that so I can post it or whatever. But it was phenomenal. It should be on our Facebook page though. But more stories to come. But go ahead, Ori.
Yeah, yeah, I did date, but I wasn't supposed to be dating. But I did date. It was before I started running away, which you can look at the video, but before I started that, I had a young guy who I was dating in middle school, and yeah, I knew that there was no way I could let my adoptive mom find out, because she's really, she's been with 2 men her entire life, and she waited till her first husband passed away to be with her second husband, and he's deceased, and I have not seen her with another man. So I knew that I couldn't let her know that I was talking to a guy at school.
Listen, that's that.
So yeah.
Commitment. Wow. Okay. Mia?
So no, I was not allowed to date in foster care, mainly because I stayed at a lot of my placements were very heavy religiously. And so a lot of the group homes or foster homes, it was like, we don't allow that here. I do recall one of my foster homes, she had a daughter my age. And so I remember wanting to go to homecoming with my boyfriend in high school. And she literally kicked me out of the house. I had to do respite for a weekend because my caseworker was so excited about me wanting to get out and do a school activity. So they were like supportive. And she was like, well, I don't let my daughter date. So if y'all are gonna let her go to homecoming with a date, she has to get out of my house for the weekend. So I had to go do like foster care respite for a weekend because she didn't support the dating. But then at times my CASA worker was very supportive. This one specific guy that I dated in high school, my first date with him at 17, it was chaperoned. And we went to Wendy's. It was so lame. But yeah, we couldn't date. It was so lame. But
I like 4
Yeah.
I remember her saying, look, I can get you out of the foster home and let you go, but I have to be there, okay? But so yeah.
I feel my first date was at a Panera Bread.
Really?
Yeah, at a Panera Bread in my hometown, and it was like the spot to go to because when it opened, everyone was like, "Oh my God, we have a Panera Bread now." But,
that sounds more exciting than me.
I mean, I didn't pay. I'll go to Panera Bread if I'm not paying.
Well, that brings to another question before, and this one wasn't planned. So for a female, I'm just trying to give dating advice to all my males that may be listening. Is it customary for the guy to pay on that date, that first date, or whatever?
I mean, I think it's tradition. It's a societal tradition. I think it just depends. I think it depends on the situation. There are times now that if I am very forthcoming, so I tend to ask people out instead of people coming to me.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, if I ask you out, hey, I'm down for it. But a lot of times the guy still will be like, hey, I'm paying. But I don't think it's a one size fits all. Now, when you were younger, yeah, you're gonna pay for my food.
Yeah.
I second that because hey, it's really based on who asks. So if I tell my boyfriend, hey, you want to go get something to eat, I'm paying. He'll pull out his wallet and we'll fight over the bill, but just know I'm paying because I said it.
Right.
Okay. So, and another question that wasn't planned either. So, have you had somebody in your phone that was labeled good for free lunch or a free lunch guy? I've seen it, and I'm just
no, Anthony.
I'm trying to get people in trouble.
Free food. Hey, when you're in college and you are struggling and someone wants to look, if you trying to just feed me a meal, I can give you some company. I'm not giving you nothing else, but I can spend some time over a nice meal.
Learn and just make sure.
Yeah, I'm so ashamed. I have used the guy for food. I'm so ashamed.
Don't even act, Anthony, because on the flip side, men got all kinds of names for us in their phone.
You know what you so right.
So right.
Listen, don't try and filter off your guilt onto me, onto the mail.
Somebody else gotta take it.
I'm curious. So now, just so you know, guys, after you taking her out for a date for a few times, call her while you're right there and see what your name pops up as. That's what that is a tip.
Wow.
You're gonna rename it.
Intuitive.
It doesn't even matter about the name because I have it located as free food. It's just that person's name, and it's just like, yep, I know I'm getting a meal they call.
I can't with y'all, but thank you for the notes so I can make sure to pass this information down. All right. Say what?
I say you giving away the game, Anthony.
You know I got to look out for my people. Wakanda forever. All right. So what is the I guess what is one of the best dates that y'all have been on? And I'll start with Hope.
I really wish you would ask me the worst date because
you go ahead and give me that. Give me the worst date then.
This person was just not being himself. We went to the bowling alley. I don't know why, but I've always hated bowling, and he knew that. So what made it really bad was I don't know, he was trying to throw the ball, and he wound up sliding down the alley. And it was just so embarrassing. Never. And I promise you, I've never been to. I promise.
No.
Was he okay?
Was I okay?
Were you okay? Oh man. Oh my
It was a bad experience.
We're gonna stick with the worst date. I gotta see like how that gets topped. Right? Okay. Jen, do you mind sharing your worst date?
Who, me?
No, Jen. I'm curious if you mind sharing your worst date to share.
I was just thinking, my worst date was at the same Panera Bread I had my first date at.
Panera Bread.
And I remember I went, and it was kind of, again, like being in high school, being like, oh, well, I mean, we're going to Panera and I'm not paying, so might as well. And it was so awkward that I like made up some excuse and then I took the public bus home. Yeah, and then I walked like 2 blocks to get to my apartment complex. And I remember the next day I saw him, this was in high school. The next day I saw him in high school. He was like, how's your emergency? Were you okay? Blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get myself out of this. Like, we can't go to Panera again. That was a sucky walk. Yeah, so I'm in your boat. And I don't go, yeah. I'm from New Jersey, actually. So it's just funny to think about now that I live in Georgia. I don't think we would have gone to a Panera Bread.
Wow, this is interesting. I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I learn something every day. Like, this is amazing. Anyone else want to tackle that worst date?
Mine is not funny.
I'm curious.
No, mine is not funny. It's just more of, my worst date was with this blind date. So it was a friend of mine that hooked me up with her friend. And we actually met at her house before going out. But I'm very, Anthony, you know me. I am very private, right? And so I have to kind of get a feel of you first. But he was very touchy-feely, not in a inappropriate way, just like it was real mushy, and I don't like that kind of stuff. It was real like candlelit dinner. He wanted to hold my hand across the table. He wanted to feed me, and I know that to some women it sounds so romantic, but it's so cringeworthy for me.
Yeah.
On a blind first date?
Yes. and he was just so sweet. And on the first date, this is probably the worst part though. He really started talking about our future. And I'm like, dude, I just met you. But see,
wow.
My experience, men don't like that kind of response from women. So it was like, he was nice, but I couldn't do it. I don't like that kind of stuff. First of all, I don't like very traditional dates. So surprise me, take me on an experience. I'm like let's go to the gun range kind of thing, or let's go to a zombie escape the room thing or something like that, you know? But yeah, it was just really cringing because he was like talking about our future. He was wanting to hold hands, rubbing me, and like, it was just like, dude, I want to eat without you feeding me.
Wow.
What are, out of curiosity, what are y'all's like first date Like,
I like
if
that
this
question.
happens, we're done. Like, there's not going to be a second day after this.
That's it.
That was it for you. So overly touchy. Do you guys
Yes.
have other ones? I know for me, like, if they're always talking about their money, I don't want to go on another date. You know, like some dudes be
For
like
me,
that sometimes.
it's flashy. It's
Flashy.
the joke of, oh, I left my wallet in the car. No fool. You didn't leave your wallet in your car, and I will leave you where you sat. I don't do jokes like that, and I don't like the flashiness, and I definitely don't like the touchy feely, like it's the thing that Mia was talking about. Like, I would have
Right.
old dude got punched, because I don't know you. Like, back up, please.
Right.
Right.
So before Hope answer, what is flashy?
Flashy as in, I got to take pictures of my car. I got to take a picture because this the baddie that I'm with, and I'm so fresh, and like you're boasting and you're posting everything on social media. If you're trying to get to know me, I know that I look good. I'm not trying to be your model chick that you walk around like a trophy. Like, I want to get to know you for you, and I'm very private myself, so like, let's not do that. It's not for public display. We're not celebrities here, and even if we were, I still wouldn't want nobody in my business.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I said that. Hope you're just gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, kind of old school, but someone that's excessively late. That's it. I mean, before we even go on the date, I already know it's not gonna work out because you don't even value my time, especially when we're getting to know each other. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. I so feel that.
What about you, Anthony, from the guy's perspective? What's your first date like? We're done if this is what's gonna go down here.
If they are rude to people, like the waiter or anybody like that, I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it. Because I feel that if they're rude to the waiter, they're gonna be rude to my mom. They're gonna be rude to my friends and stuff like that, and I can't have it.
Right.
I can't have it.
I hear that.
Yeah. Mia, what? Mia already touchy blind date. That is so strange to me.
Especially blind and making too much of an effort to try to make us compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for those of you who snuck in and tried to date as a youth or as a young person in care, what did you learn, like, were some of the traits that you like, or better question, what was a trait that you liked then that you know now was like a bad idea? I'll start with Ori. Go ahead.
I used to like talking on the phone a lot. Like, I always wanted to know where you were at, what you were doing, who you were with, just because I was really clingy. And now that I'm older, I'm not. I'm so not clingy. I don't like talking 24/7. I don't want to know where you at with all the time. Like, I like my space.
I feel that. So did you figure that out, like, did you learn that trait as, like, as you stopped needing to want to be next to somebody all the time? Like, what is that? Not adaptive, but where abandonment. Like, do you feel that was part of, like, an abandonment thing that you just need to do?
It's definitely, like, me being clingy was definitely a part of my abandonment issue. But I think once I start becoming more secure in myself, start being more confident, then I don't need to know where you're at. I don't need a man to complete me. Not that I don't want a man, but I don't need a man to complete me.
So what's the difference between need and wanting?
Well, I want a man. Like, I'm a single woman. I have children. You know, it's not easy being a single parent, and just for the love aspect, like, I want to be in love. You know, but I don't need a man to complete me. That's what I mean when I say that. Like, I don't need a man to, like, if he was to leave tomorrow, I may be a little hurt, but it's not going to break me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm passing that question on to Ashanti.
I would say I used to really like boys that were aggressive. I'm a very forward person, and when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm going to do it, and I, press towards the mark and make that a goal. And so, we sometimes as young girls we want someone to be like, "No, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do this," and it's bad because I groomed my boyfriend to be that way, and now here we are in year 8. I'm like, bruh, chill out. I'll punch you. Like, I don't like that. Like, calm down. Like, I needed, but it also was someone to assert some type of dominance over me, to try to control me in a sense. I wanted that, but now I'm at an age where, like, look, we're cool, calm, and collect. If we have to make a decision, cool, let's go with it. Let's make a decision. For me, this is what I'm not gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm grown. I make my own decisions. Thank you for your consideration, but nah, I'm good.
And so, what is the difference between like? So I see how some people say that that's considered being what is it? Not unladylike, but like I forget the terminology that is commonly used, but
is it submissive that you're looking for?
Submissive is yeah. So yeah, well let's go with that. That wasn't the exact word I was looking for, but that is something that I've heard. So is that like not being submissive? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? What's the viewpoint?
My viewpoint on submission is I have to be able to trust that you're going to make sure I'm good. So if it's within reason, I'm cool with submitting. If it's something that is like, okay, this is like financially, we're trying to get each other together financially. If it's like, okay, I want to go out to eat today, and he's looking at our money and is like, look, we're trying to prepare to get engaged and all this stuff. The money this ain't right now. Eating out, your better bet is to cook. Then that's a point where it's like, okay, you know what? You're thinking on the other side, and I can trust that you have my best interest at heart in submitting, and I can submit to that. But it's, okay, well, I decided that I wanted to work this job here, and no, I wanted to go hang out with my friends here at this place, and it's, no, you can't go. Hold up, those are my friends. I can go hang out with my friends. You ain't paying for it, so what's the conversation? It's the control. It's not being controlling.
And I have I guess I'm gonna go to, if anybody wanted to answer that, you could. But has anybody had the relationship where the significant other wanted to control everything, and how was that? And I'll start with Hope.
So no, I think that I can admit that I was the one who, I've always been the more dominant person in all of my relationships. I don't know. That's just how it's always been. I'm not even really attracted to people who, want to be dominant over me. So I don't know that I would even have that experience.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Mia same thing.
So no, I don't think it's, I have never been in a situation where it was a known controlling thing. I think it's more, I've been in relationships where sometimes it might turn into like a emotional or mental kind of controlling thing. It's not physical, and it kind of grew into that because as I allowed myself my personality to be shown and express certain things, I think it the other person started to learn what they could use to trigger certain things or what they could use to get me to do certain things. But it never started off as like a physically submissive or controlling type of situation.
So you say over time it just happened?
Yeah, I mean, I admit I have been in some pretty toxic relationships, and so yeah, it would be as you allow yourself to become more involved emotionally in certain relationships, that the idea is that your partner learns more about you, and as they learn more about you and they understand what your triggers are, and they understand, you might not use those terms, but they understand what will trigger you. They understand like certain things that can be said, and they understand excuse me, one of the biggest things for me is I did fear abandonment. And so it was kind of this unspoken knowing that, I wouldn't leave. So I would kind of endure certain forms of emotional, things. But I don't even know if I answered the question directly, but I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening. I hear that. I want to open it up to anyone else who wanted to comment.
Yeah, I feel like most people put on a facade. Sometimes when dating, they don't really present who their true selves. Like, they tend to ask you questions centered around, well, what do you like or what do you want and things like that. And then they try to mimic or imitate the things that you like or want. And that doesn't allow them to actually be them true selves, to give you for you to make a decision of whether you want the imitation or the real person or not. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people do that when dating men and women.
So isn't that I feel that is like really, really common, because people want you to see the best of them even if it's not them. So how do you like spot that, hey, you don't have to be somebody else, I just want you? How do you bring that to that person?
I'm not gonna lie. For me, it might not be the right response. I'm not a relationship coach or anything like that. But for me, I'll tell you, I'm loving, I'm sweet, I can laugh with you all day, but I'm a little bit crazy. So you're gonna have to be able to deal with those crazy sides sometimes. And I'm just open and honest. We can have a good time, a great time, but hey, who knows? I might just have a mood swing today. So
Not just you, girl. That's not just you.
Yeah, I think it comes up. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jenny.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you think about it, it's like almost like cultural, right? Like, it's like the culture nowadays to like have like this image you put forward, like, people are on the gram or they're on Twitter, and you're having like your personal brand and persona. And I don't know, I think like, especially like what you're saying, Oriana, like I talk to young people all the time about like, how many people are out there? You know how many people you will date in your life? Like, you don't have to be a certain type of person to date on this one date. Like, if it's not going to work out, there's going to be someone else that you can date. And if there isn't, like, you should love yourself, right? You should be proud of the person that you are, and that should be the person you put forward. But like, yeah, like, not to blame like the internet or anything, but like, especially with the fact that like we're in like this pandemic culture and everybody's like, even right now we're all on Zoom, right? So I feel like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like it does get in the way of like modern day dating, like you go and you try to figure out like, what's this person's intention, but it takes like 5 dates to realize that. And sometimes you don't have 5 like dates worth of time,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to know. Yeah.
That is so true.
I think it triggers another conversation, because in general, I think that's what's taught in our society. Like, you do it you do it at your, for employment reasons. You kind of put your best foot forward all the time. So I don't think it's bad. I think there is a level of authenticity about yourself that you have to be comfortable with, and I think a lot of people miss that in general with their own self-discovery and growth internally, is the like, it is okay to be authentic. It is okay to be genuine about who you are. And yeah, I agree. I think it's all, we have set this precedence that, like, it was way before social media too. It's the lessons that you learn from, like, when you go for a job, you need to act this way. When you go for this, you're meeting these people, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's a natural societal habit that I guess my thing, when it comes to dating and relationships, if you find that you're on the 5th date still and you still are putting on this facade, this person's not the one. If you still feel the need to do that after the 3rd, 4th, 5th date, then yeah, you're trying to hide something, or you don't feel comfortable enough with this person. I get the first time, maybe the second time, you're trying to keep this, because it's like, the first time I don't really want to devour this Big Mac, but
But what about those marriages that people are married for like 1 to 2 years before they actually found out that their spouse is like a whole completely different person?
Well, I think that's what people say there is. And again, I'm not a marriage counselor or relationship coach, but I think that's when people have, at that point, there were signs that you saw, but
red flags.
I can't tell you how many times I have been in relationships, and in my mind, I'm like, that is a huge red flag, but I still want to figure this out, And so I think that after that amount of time, you probably did see certain red flags, but you didn't want to face them. You didn't want to acknowledge that they were there.
Right.
I love you anyway.
Right. I was about to say the same thing about discernment. Like, you have to have discernment. And I'm with the openness, but it's learning when to say what things. Like, when me and my boyfriend were split up and, I was dating other people, he wasn't dating anybody. I was just mad, trying to get back at him. But when I was dating, I used to tell the guys that I dated, I'm somebody's wife. So if you're here to waste my time, then, you need to go on somewhere. And they would play off of that. Well, she said she's wife material. So this is a thing that a wife would want. And that's the thing that a wife would want. And she wants to be treated this way and that way. And it's a certain standard to her. So let me meet up to, match up to that level. And then once I get whatever I want to get out of her and, have my motives completed, then I could just dip and I can really just show her everything and how I really am. So it's really a matter of being discerning and learning when to say certain things. Watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph, I don't know who Joseph Stone is, but he's in the chat and he says, presenting one's true self can be one of the most scariest things. And it's true. I think we are all out to protect ourselves, and being vulnerable like that is one of the scariest things for everyone. So I agree with Joseph. I don't know if you can hear me, but I agree with you. You are throwing out some gems out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Joseph, FYI, he's with Anthem. He normally helps me host these, but he's with Amerigroup. Amazing guy. And actually, just a small plug. We're actually doing a game night on March 12th or whatever. So Joseph, you could put that in the chat or whatever. But we're gonna be having some fun with Amerigroup. We always do. It's and Hope is on the Youth Advisory Council for Amerigroup. So
yeah.
Small plug, shameless. Yeah. So I guess to bring it around, because y'all had a few different things that I was listening to that I wanted to touch on, but I guess before I start that, for anyone, like, did anyone sit down and talk with you about relationships, like while you was in care or while you was transitioning, or did you have anybody that you could trust to run and talk to?
Nope.
So no one. No. I'm curious. I see Ashanti shaking her head. Hope you said you did.
Yes and no. Not from a, my perspective or, what I'm going through, but really informative, throwing statistics at me, it just really, I was a young lady. And so I really couldn't relate to what they were saying because they weren't, saying things like, okay, there'll be a time where, maybe you're dating someone and you have feelings. That did not occur. It was, I remember someone drawing like an STD map on the board, and it was just really complex.
Oh, sorry. I was getting ready to start talking on mute. I want to jump to you, but I know Ori's going to say something before I want to hear what she had to say.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything to say. I don't think I did.
So as far as for everybody else who didn't necessarily have anybody to talk to, like, where did you learn from, or how were you able to learn?
Mhm.
Experience. I'm still learning relationships. I'm 28.
Mhm. I will say, like, in regards to this conversation, there was a study done by like the American Bar Association, and they found that on average, 80% of parents surveyed didn't even recognize dating violence or relationship violence as an issue in teenagers. So it is definitely like a thing that like parents across the country, like, just like we're doing this type of outreach with young people, we have to go to parents too, because in reality, the statistic for teen dating violence is 1 in 3. And like, a lot of the time parents will just be like, oh, that'll never be my kid, or like, that's not my business for the kids that are under my care, like, but in reality, like, those are definitely things that you should be teaching them, because even if it is not that one person, it's definitely going to be someone, right? Every person on this call knows somebody who has been in those types of abusive relationships. So definitely to like validate everyone here, like, it's an issue.
Yeah.
I learned trial and error. Like, I had to make a few mistakes before. I'm still learning. Like you said, like, I had to make mistakes.
So going back to the statistics about